All right. Okay, guys. Welcome back to the True Bench today. We've made we made an exception, and we brought back Shegun, who was on the last
For, for
who
wicked
was on the
reasons.
last
For,
episode.
for very wicked reasons.
No, no ulterior motive, but we enjoyed your analysis so much
Absolutely.
that we had to bring you back. So Shegu is back, and we have a lot to get to today. So guys, another weekend, a lot of headlines, and I'm
Yeah.
just going to go through a few, and I want you guys to react to anyone that resonates with you. Let's start from Stamford Bridge, where the young lads, against all odds, pulled up or put out a victory against the champions.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of that match as well, Enzo Maresca got a second yellow card for over celebrating, and that resulted into a red card. And ultimately, it could not be part of the press release. I thought that was interesting to see. Ange, who we spoke about last week, continues to struggle. He lost again. So he hasn't. He's been since he's been at Nottingham Forest. He has not managed a win yet. Just wondering what the future holds for him. I'm already hearing talks that he's going to have conversations with the ownership of the football club. So that's interesting. Bournemouth on Friday, pulled up a stunning 15 minutes stellar performance to get 3-1 victory against Fulham. I was very impressed by what they did in the second half, especially in the last 15 minutes of that match. And lastly, I mean, I will be biased if I don't talk about this. First back-to-back victory for Ruben Amorim at Old Trafford. I have to
Yeah.
mention it. It's
Yeah.
newsworthy. So, what
Yeah.
do you guys? I want you guys to react to any of those headlines coming out of
So for
match
those
week
that are watching, I
7.
think we need to retrace the fact that Wale is a Chelsea fan and
Yep.
I
Shego
think
is a
everybody
Liverpool.
knows that by
So
now.
I said we need to retrace that Shego is a Liverpool fan. So let's go. I'd like Shego to talk about that Liverpool game first of all.
Okay. So first and foremostly, right? Bad week for
Yeah,
Liverpool. Terrible day at the office.
yeah.
Um, Kudos to the young boys. I would like to think though that we lost that match as opposed to them winning it. And I'm not trying to take anything away from those
Hmm.
boys. We were poor. I don't think I've seen us that poor in a long time. And some will say it has been coming because to a large extent they will say we've just been scraping through. We've been winning by one goal, maybe two. In the last few games, we conceded first. But I give it to these young boys. And I don't know, everybody wants to beat Liverpool. There's always just this thing about wanting to stamp your authority, not just Liverpool, but the champions. And they did that. They lost their
Hmm.
fear. They played freely. They matched us in our own half. They were aggressive. They looked like they wanted it more. And whether that was because they were at Stamford Bridge or it's just the way they played, I don't know. But I know that Liverpool had the quality to have easily done so much better. And I guess we'll get into the details of that match as we go along because we're beginning to see people who we expect a lot from generally not producing. And on a good day, those guys are game
Yeah.
changers. But take nothing away from the young Chelsea
Hmm.
boys. They showed a lot of bravery. What were they going to lose? Nothing. And so they said, let's play. And they played freely. And for me, it was a deserved 3 points for Chelsea. I'm not going to take that away from them at all.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Suki, your comments? Yeah.
So absolutely, I guess we'll get deep into the match later on, but I I think Chelsea showed spirit, especially in the last two Premier League games. What has happened to Chelsea? Losing two games in the Premier League and coming back acting like they've won all their games in the Premier League. They played with a lot of confidence. They held the ball well. It didn't matter they were playing against Liverpool. I mean, Caicedo's goal, take nothing away from that goal, but you are beginning to see what I was saying in the last analysis about people like Van Dijk. normally Van Dijk is not going to be stepping away from that ball. You know what I mean? He's backing up, trying to see, and opened up the shooting opportunity for Caicedo. So I mean, fantastic team Liverpool, but we're beginning to see those. I mean, we're not beginning to see, but those frailties in the defense is what is really, really, really killing Liverpool right now. And then Mo Salah, I don't know what's going on with him. He was just shooting blanks. Very, very unlike Mo Salah. 4 5 chances, none of them on target. I mean, those are the
Yeah,
kind of things
I
that
guess
we're saying that.
you're right, Sukobi. We'll get into it. I want to talk about that Caicedo's goal was all on McAllister. I would even give it to Van Dijk because he had someone he was trying to cover. But we'll get into it. I could point to like 3 or 4 people that were
Yeah.
non-existent in that pitch. But we'll get into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for me, I mean, I agree with, Chelsea, Liverpool, the headlines coming from that game. The second part of that headline, which I thought was a bit of a disgrace to the league and these rules, is that, I mean, Enzo Maresca was showing passion. He was celebrating with the guys. Like
It's a silly
I mean,
rule.
you should see me here on Saturday
It's a
when that
silly
goal
rule.
went in. It was
It's a
just
silly rule.
pure passion.
It's a silly rule.
Like, why do you give? I mean, it's
No,
just, I just thought we should mention
it's
it
a
on the
silly
show.
rule.
It's pathetic.
No,
Yeah.
Wale, I agree with you completely. It's a silly rule. I thought that taking off your shirt was a silly rule, but I guess they did it because people were having all sorts of messages under, and it was becoming a bit political. So I get that if it's because you have a
Mm.
message under. But man, we played this game to see the goals. We are passionate. We're excited. And a manager to not celebrate
Yeah.
with his teammates, he's not doing anybody any harm for crying out loud. Some of these rules
I
are
mean,
just they're
Exactly.
just killing the buzz.
Yeah.
I thought Chelsea was going to challenge it. I thought Chelsea would challenge that red card. I thought so. But, I mean, there must be
No,
funny
I think
penalty.
it's a second yellow card,
It's
Yeah.
not
so
a straight red, so
you
it can't
can't
be
challenge
challenged
it.
per se. It's
Unfortunately, it's
not a
not a
straight
straight
red.
red, so he has to live with it.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I
Anyway,
mean,
let's get into the reviews. We had said, as usual, we've highlighted 3 games that we're looking at this weekend, and I think we should start from the Chelsea Liverpool game that we've already started talking about.
Yeah.
Personally, for me in that match, there are a number of things I just wanted to highlight without necessarily going into the tactical detail. Number one is the mentality of that team that day. I'm a I'm a Chelsea fan and I've been a fan for a really long time. I've seen different teams under different coaches, and I've watched this particular team over the last 3 years. This is a new mentality that they did not have. I'm telling you. In fact, I think 2 or 3 shows ago, I'd mentioned the need for Enzo Maresca to impress upon his players to start matches very well. They did exactly that against Liverpool. From the blast of the whistle, the press was on. It was ridiculous. I said, where is this energy coming from? And that press was balanced by control. 22, 23-year-old guys who were pressing so hard, but when they had the ball, the control that they showed, the the calmness that they have to play the ball out from the defense against Liverpool was extremely impressive. That's number one. Number two, the control in the midfield, especially championed by Caicedo, I thought it was world class. On that day, Caicedo will fit into any club in this world and be a star. It was just
Come on,
ridiculous the
give
way
me
he
a
played. No,
break.
I'm telling you, it
What
was
am
just
I hearing
ridiculous.
violins in the background? Am I hearing violins? Oh my
No,
goodness.
I'm sure
Please give
Shegun
me
and the
a
Liverpool
break.
fans were thinking, wait, I'm sure Shegun and Liverpool fans were thinking, how did we miss out on this guy?
Oh
Like, how
no,
did
give
this
me
guy
a
not
break.
come to
He plays
Liverpool?
once
No,
in
really,
20 matches and suddenly I'm hearing
that's the
violins.
second thing I'm taking from that. That's the second thing I'm taking from that game. Uh, and the third one was, personally, I thought by the time Liverpool equalized, I was okay with a draw. I was just saying, please don't concede another goal because, I mean, you've done all this work. It wouldn't be nice if you lose. Because I thought Liverpool was on top. But for them to still have the mentality that we can still win this game, and for an 18-year-old who is just 7 weeks into the Premier League to have the nerve to score that goal, I thought it was fantastic. I'll rest my case.
Okay, I'm still hearing violins coming from you. I really am, but I'll allow you because every Chelsea fan suddenly has mouth all over the place. They're just talking. And again, it goes back to what I said about whether it's about winning the champions or winning Liverpool. It's just shocking how suddenly verbal they are. And it's 7 games in, may I remind us. Um, Look, I've said it before. I don't want to take anything away from those young boys. They did well, so I will give them their flowers. But I insist that if we had taken our chances, Sukomi said it earlier. Salah was
Yeah,
wasteful.
but you didn't have. How many chances did you
Hold on,
create?
No,
Maybe Mo Salah. How
hold
many
on, hold
chances?
on,
Let's
hold
be
on, hold,
real.
hold on,
you barely even the first save was in the 45th minute of first shots.
hold on. We all watched the match, right? We all
I'm not
know
a
that
Chelsea fan,
Salah
by
was
the way.
wasteful.
I'm not a Chelsea fan. Just
So no, Sukomi, I get you, and I'm one of the things I love about True Bench is that we're very objective as well as passionate and loyal, right? Now, I see that for me, Salah
Yeah.
was quite wasteful. I don't know whether he was looking for that 250 goal target or whatever, or that particular personal landmark, but I've not seen him so really poor. He was really, there was some chances Salah would take in a heartbeat easily, and that would have turned the game. Now, I'm not saying that Chelsea didn't have their chances, but on a good day, you see certain frailties. We talked about McAllister. I don't know why Slot decided that he was going to play Gravenberg in an advanced right position, knowing that on that same wing, Salah is not going to track back. So Gravenberg is more or less running that channel, and there is no cover for McAllister. And that's why Castelo had all the time in the world to pick his position. Now, I'm the kind of person that would say it as it is. I thought that he got his tactics wrong. That's Arne Slot in terms of defense. There was too much room between the ball that was lost in possession by McAllister and the back four. So either, what's his name? Van Dijk was going to have to come forward to cover, which would have left again, we've talked about the press that Chelsea was putting on. So there was someone he was trying to cover. And the moment nobody filled that space, it was over. Why? Because Gravenberg was on the right, Szoboszlai was on the left, and McAllister, who we know is not match fit. Anybody watching that guy will tell you he's not match fit. Why play him? And these young guys saw it, they smelled blood, and they went for it. And that's why I give them kudos. Because on a good day, Liverpool is not losing that match now. We know it. On a good day. And even when, like what they said, 1-1, I thought the momentum was with us. I really did. I thought he would make some attacking changes. We saw that he had to place Robertson, and it was because Robertson was kind of dozing at the back post that this young boy even creeps in and scores. And we've talked about Robertson. We're not seeing Kirkus really do the business. We got rid of Simika. So we've said it on this platform before. Liverpool's undoing will be the back line. We've said it. And we're seeing it. And Sukomi said it
Yeah.
last time we were on this call. Goal was because 2 or 3 of the backliners went to sleep. Honestly, I've said I've not really been particularly impressed by what's his name beside Van Dijk. See, I'm already forgetting him because he's becoming Konate. He's becoming forgettable. But the midfield
Canute,
was
yeah.
not there.
Canute.
Caicedo had one of the best games in a blue shirt. He was very commanding. It
Yep,
didn't look like they were
absolutely.
going to lose the battle in the middle
Absolutely.
at all. Liverpool knows how to work away from that, just bypass the middle, but they just didn't do it. The passes were not connecting. Van Dijk was blowing it everywhere. The young man, the left back, had to be replaced. I've not seen such a poor performance. Again, it's hard to. I don't want to take away from Chelsea. I really don't. But I think it was such a poor performance by Liverpool that I would have been. I would have been surprised if we drew. Sincerely.
Yeah. Suki, let's wrap this up with comments from you. Yeah.
one thing I'll just say quickly about that game, I love the way Isak brought down that ball for Gapo. I think it was the most intelligent thing ever.
Yeah, it
Fantastic.
was kind of cool. Yeah.
Fantastic.
But was it not bringing it down for himself?
No, because
And if he
that's what that,
was, he would have lost the ball.
everybody
No,
thinks position.
Sukkum is
But
right. There was a little
when you
flick
look
at
at
the end. No, Sukkum,
when
go
you
on,
look
go on.
at
I thought there was
his
a little
starting
flick,
position,
control and flick at the end. That's what I thought.
now I think if you look at his position, he didn't make any move after bringing down that ball. He brought down the ball. He didn't make any move as someone that wanted to go for the ball. So that's why I know that he brought down that ball for Gakpo. In my own opinion, I think he was intelligent.
I think we have to review that. I don't think so. I thought Gakpo saw the chance. He was optimistic about it. He was aggressive, and he just went on for it. I thought Isak was bringing that ball down for himself, but
It was,
maybe I'm wrong.
it was a way
But
more
it was
than
slick. I
thought
agree
that too
with
at
you. It
first.
was slick.
I thought that too at first, but when you watch it
Okay.
closely,
when you watch it
Isak
again, you see
realizes
that
he's
he wasn't standing.
yeah. Watch it again. Isak realizes he's not in a position to swivel and shoot. So in the last minute and bringing it down, he just flicks it forward a bit for Gakpo to latch onto it. So I think his initial thought was, I'm going to try and control this for me. But as the ball connects, he just flicks it a bit into the path of Gakpo. And I believe we will see more excellence from Liverpool. It's a really changed team. It's even a changed bench, backroom change. There's a lot of change going on there. I'm surprised that we're even in the position we're in.
Yeah.
I was surprised we won the league last season. But I have a feeling that when we do connect, results will reflect it.
One last thing I'll say about this match, just to echo what Shegun was saying. I thought that the difference between this match this year and this match last year is Mo Salah, right?
Yeah.
There are many games last year where Liverpool was average, where Liverpool made a lot of mistakes, but Salah was like a cheat. It was like he was better than every other player on the field, and he gets that half chance. He was going to bury it,
And
and that was it. Uh,
yes,
and that was it. And
Yeah.
that's how they won so
a lot of
many
games.
games
Yeah.
last season. Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, for Liverpool's sake, I hope Salah goes back to that form. Otherwise, I think Liverpool will struggle like
So they have
all
another
the other
option. They
top
have another
teams,
alternative besides
and
Salah.
they will have to figure things out.
We
Yeah.
have Chiesa. Why did you just
Still with
remove Salah and put Chiesa for the last 20 minutes? I mean, that's the
It's
problem when
not.
you
It's
have a
not.
key
It's not an
player.
easy call, Sheldon. It's not. It's not an easy call to pull off Salah. It's very difficult.
So we'd rather lose the game than so.
no,
Look,
No,
I
no,
think
no.
we're
I'm not
just
saying
looking
that,
for
but okay, let's go to the second game. It should be pretty quick. Arsenal West Ham. I thought this was very straightforward. The
yeah,
one thing I noticed that I was watching for in that game was the midfield change that Ateta made.
right.
I thought starting Rice, Odegaard, and Eze for the first time was interesting.
Yeah,
And if there was any match you could try this, I thought this
should
was
be
a
this
good
one.
match to try.
Yeah,
yeah,
And I
yeah.
was looking out for the creativity that was going to come out of that midfield. But I was kind of disappointed because they didn't really create much up until Odegaard was forced out with the injury he had. The
Yeah,
moment Zubimendi came into that match changed completely. He
yeah,
was breaking play. He was initiating the attack for them from the defense. He
yeah.
was covering up. And I began to think, is Zubimendi becoming inevitable for Arsenal? Is he going to be another Rice where they have to play the two of them and have to figure out who they will sacrifice between Eze and Odegaard for any
Okay.
match? What do you guys think?
Well, if I may jump in, I think you make a very good point because one of the things Zubimendi did was release Rice to basically play ahead of him, and that's why we see
yeah.
Rice having such impact and even scoring. Because if not, Rice would have kind of still tried to maintain a a central midfielder, holding midfielder kind of position, and
Yeah.
Odegaard would have been making more of the 10 moves, if you like. But once Zubimendi was in there,
Mhm.
a controlling midfielder, you can see Rice was more advanced. And that really changed the game.
Yeah.
Because Rice is a good finisher. I mean, take nothing away from him. He's quite nifty
Yeah.
on the ball.
He is.
So I feel that
Yeah,
maybe
he is.
Arteta has a call to make that has been made for him because the meniscal injury is not funny, man. Odegaard may be out for a couple of weeks. right? And so that allows him to try the Zubimendi
This
thing,
year.
and
Yeah,
that would be helpful for Arsenal. Arsenal are looking strong,
yeah.
looking really balanced, got great wingers who need a Zubimendi to allow them to be creative.
Saka is
Mm,
looking really good. I mean, I think for me, just to Wale's point, it's similar to what's happening at Manchester United, right? I feel like if you bring in Kobe Mano to partner with Casemiro or whoever else he wants him to partner with, it gives Bruno Fernandes the liberty to go forward. But now Bruno Fernandes is sitting back, and the creativity is very, very deft. It's like it's not
Yeah,
exist. So I wonder sometimes. I like that the fact that Subimendi comes in, Rice is able to go forward. Even Eze is able to go forward a lot more now. So but stifling that creativity by bringing Rice in as a CDM, it reduces your chances, and that's exactly what we're seeing at Manchester United. That I think is a problem, but the manager obviously doesn't think it's a problem. So um,
mm.
yeah.
All
You
but I
right.
make
think it was
very
a
good points.
straightforward
Good
game. I
points.
think Arsenal showed class. Saka looks to
Mm,
be ready to score goals, and I mean, straightforward win for Arsenal. If you ask me, very straightforward.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
sure we can
Absolutely.
judge that Arsenal team versus a West Ham performance. Sorry. West Ham is in. I don't know who's worse, West Ham, Wolves, or Forest right now. But we're going to have to see some other games to really judge the power of this midfield we're talking about. Everybody
Yeah.
kind of thought this was going to be inevitable.
Yeah, yeah. So let's wrap that up there. And the last game that we're reviewing is the one between Everton and Crystal Palace.
But
Sadly, Crystal Palace was the last standing
why is it
team
sadly?
not to lose a game.
Why is it sadly? It's not sad.
Well, I like Crystal Palace. I didn't think that was the game they were going to lose. But there's
Thought we were gonna
parity
win.
now. Everybody has lost at least one match in the Premier
Yep,
League, so
yep.
we can
That's
all
what
be cool. But but what I saw in that game was it was how how the Premier League can punish you very quickly if you
Yep,
don't take your chances.
yep,
By the 70th minute, Crystal Palace could have been 3-0 up
yep,
more
because
than
they had 3-4, they had chances. And if I remember the commentator in that match saying that when they lost one of the chances, saying that, oh, how Crystal Palace will kick themselves if they don't take away 3 points from the game. He didn't even realize that they were going to take away, they were not going to take away anything from that
yep,
game. But
yep,
again, we have to give credit to Everton. They
yep,
didn't give up. They kept pressing. Uh Grealish looks like a different player. Let's just be honest.
yep,
He's running the show. In
yep.
there on the right looks like a player that is ready to take on anybody,
anybody.
at any time, right? Another comment that I found very funny, this is a dig at Segun and Liverpool, is that Everton fans are going to tell their Liverpool colleagues today that we just destroyed a team that you couldn't even beat the week before, or
You
that
know,
you lost to the week
you
before.
know, and
Hey, you
you
know
know,
how those things go.
they're allowed to boast and they're allowed to talk. But we're still the champions.
Yeah,
You know what?
absolutely, absolutely.
It was always going to happen. Crystal Palace were going to lose. I agree with you. I didn't see it coming at, uh, well, it's no longer Goodison Park, but I didn't see it coming at Everton. However,
Yeah,
you made a point.
yeah,
Everton can be pretty a different looking outfit this season, and Grealish has been a
yeah,
revelation. You're absolutely right. I mean, even though it was a bit of an accidental goal, if you like, a botched up clearance that just came
yeah.
back off him
Exactly. Yeah, it
into the
was. Yeah,
net.
yeah,
Um, I think the fact
yeah,
that they kept going to the last minute, which I'm sure we've all noticed is becoming a thing now in the Premier League. Teams are just playing to the last
yeah,
minute now. They are not
yeah.
giving up.
I mean, Liverpool taught all of us. You taught us.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody was trying to
I mean,
score.
I'm learning from it
Well, you know what?
both
Let's
ways.
give
They
We're
scored.
learning from the
Crystal Palace will
champions.
score last minute.
let,
No, for me
let's
though,
give it.
when I look at that Everton game, um, Well, I don't know if you remember a few episodes ago when I said that Grealish should be a little more selfish. He was giving
Mm,
more assists than goals, and I think
yeah,
now he's going more for goals than assists, and I think that will brighten up his game. Obviously, um, I don't want to say Crystal Palace was complacent in the end, but that last goal, I mean, it was ball bouncing everywhere, and
No, but
I think they
Sukomi, you
wanted to
should say
cleanse
it.
it.
no, but it was off. It was
You should
off
say
a
it.
very good save. It
Yeah.
was
Yes,
off a
and they wanted
very
to
good
clear
save
the
from a good
ball,
header.
and as they
So it should
cleared the
have been.
ball,
It should have been a goal, actually.
it hit Grealish's leg and went right in. So,
Yeah, yeah.
But
unfortunate
you know
loss
what?
for Crystal Palace.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Sukomi. I felt that despite all the many chances missed, I kind of felt Crystal Palace thought they had it in the bag. I just kind of detected a bit of that kind of, it's Everton, we can switch it on. And that's what happens when you're on an unbeaten streak of 18 or
On a good run.
19 matches. You begin to think you're a bit
Yeah,
invincible.
yeah.
You know, your shoulders go up a bit.
Mm.
This is going to humble them small because they didn't see it happening here, you know. And I think that's
Yeah.
good for the
Yeah,
league because
yeah.
anyone in this league, anyone can beat anybody. Let's be honest, you know.
Anyone can be. That's the beauty of this league. Yeah,
Differently. Differently.
yeah.
You are
That's
not,
the beauty
it's
of
not
this
a,
league.
all that, I was telling Wole the other day, all that new manager bounce, it might not happen, no, it's a very different league now. Everybody is on point. Everybody. Nobody is
Everybody's
joking.
fighting.
Absolutely.
I mean, see what Bournemouth did that came back at last 15 minutes of the game. I mean, everybody's on point now.
It's fantastic. Yeah. So let me run quickly through the team of the week that we've selected.
Yep.
As always, I'd like you guys to chime in. Who have we included that you don't agree with, and who
Yep.
do you think should have been there that are missing? In goal, Sam Justin for Wolves. I think he made 6 saves against Brighton and kept the
Yep.
score at 1-1. Otherwise, Wolves would have lost again.
Yep.
Reece James, I know someone is going to say he's biased, but I thought Reece James had a fantastic game. He
Question before
was
you
a
go
No,
right
there.
no,
back, he was in the
no.
middle, he moved to center back,
I don't
and
I
he
think you're
was
was
on
going to say
biased.
post
because
throughout.
played different
No, I
Yeah,
don't
roles in
think.
that. In
I don't,
fact, all your players played
yeah.
different roles in that game, except maybe
no, I don't think
Caicedo.
he's
That
biased
game
at
was
all.
chaotic, yes, for Chelsea. Yeah,
Rhys
yeah.
James should take that for sure. Yeah, really good play.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And in the central defense area, James Tafolsky, Everton is becoming a regular feature now, as well as Vardio, Man City. I thought he had a good game
He had a solid game. Yeah,
defensively.
yeah.
In that game. Left back, Mark Cucurella. Mark was all over. I mean, Mark has this. I don't know if you guys agree. Mark has this way
Hey,
of making the
brother.
best not as good as they are. He has that knack. We've seen him against
Oh,
Like, if
Saka.
that guy
We've
gets
seen him
injured,
multiple times against Salah. He does this thing over and
if
over,
that
and he
guy
did it
gets
very
injured,
well.
it will be a problem for Chelsea. It will be a big
hundred
problem.
percent, hundred and
Big
ten
problem.
percent.
problem.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and in the middle of the pack, we went for Caicedo. I think it was man of the match performance in that game. Um, Kudus had an assist and a goal as well. And Bukayo Saka. No, no, sorry. Bruno
Bruno.
Guimaraes,
Guimaraes.
Newcastle,
Yeah, yeah.
Caicedo,
He was
and
brilliant.
Kudus in the middle of
Yeah,
the park. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So those were the three. And on the left, Busayo Saka for Arsenal. On the right, Semeyo for Bournemouth. He scored that fantastic goal. I thought
Really
it
lovely
was an
goal.
early contender for goal of the season. It was fantastic. It
Yeah,
was really good. And
really good.
Erling Haaland is back again as the striker for
Oh,
the team
what
of
do
the
we
week.
do with
Your
this
thoughts?
dude?
Of course, we gave the coach of the week to Enzo Maresca. Yeah,
Honestly,
You,
I thought he
personally,
did.
you,
and I'm not being biased, I think Ahmad in Manchester United on the right wing, I think he did phenomenal against Sunderland. I think he did really well. And I think
who?
the Sunderland keeper did really well as well.
Who?
Ahmad,
Ahmad. He
I
said
think
Man U,
Oh, right,
Ahmad,
United.
man,
right, right,
Ahmad.
right, right.
Ahmad Diallo, I think he played really, really well. Every ball coming from that right side, matter of fact, that's where all our threats came from, So I think he did really well. He didn't really lose the ball, gave really good passes, worked very well with with what's his name that came that before? I can't remember. I'm blacking out now.
So will
Mbano,
you will
you know.
you will you take out Saka and put Ahmad in the team?
Yeah, but I won't take out Semenyo
No,
too. Semenyo deserves that.
no, you can't.
Yeah, but
You can't
Saka,
take out
I mean,
Saka. Saka played
I
well,
mean,
I
you know,
think.
take out Saka, but he played really, really well though. He just didn't score a goal, and Saka scored a
No, he
goal.
did.
That's the difference.
He
Yeah,
did. He
played really
did.
well.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree with you. That's why the only, and
Yeah.
this may be very controversial coming from a Liverpool fan, but I think for once, let's give Amorim coach of the week. And let me tell you why I think so. Let me tell you why. I don't want to take it away from
Suki, you
a
can take it.
I don't want to take it away from a great performance from Chelsea, but there is no manager under as much pressure. Arteta is in a different he has a different kind of pressure. But Amory is constantly being bombarded. And Sunderland is not a bad team. And he actually made Manchester United look like a really good team. And that's the second back to back. Now, I know that nobody would agree
Yeah.
because there's already a bias against him, but I thought that took some, it took some knowing what you want to do, sticking to your, and it was a good result. So again, it may not be the most popular opinion,
I was
especially
actually
coming
going to
from.
suggest Amarin for this game, but you know the man is just too stubborn for this
And
match
that's the
week.
I
thing. I
Sorry,
know
mean,
everyone has
we're
issues with him.
judging him on the merits of
match
this
week on the
particular
match
game.
week.
Yes,
Yeah,
So of the
yes.
match
On
week.
the
So
merits
yeah.
of the match week,
Mm.
I think he pulled off a very good result. That most people wouldn't have been surprised if it was
it was a
or
good
even a
performance.
loss.
And Sunderland is not an easy team to play against on the
They
They're
look
not.
balance of
different. They
play
look
since the
different
beginning of
on
the
Saturday. They
yeah.
look very different. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
like, I was worried going into that game because I was like, okay, this is where he gets the sack. You know what I mean? Because Sunderland is going to, but then, they came out. And the thing
But
about
Suki, were you really worried that he was going to get the sack? I think you are one of the people that want him gone. So let's keep to the facts.
honestly, I'm not even, Amorim gone. I'm not even, but I'm just like, can you just step down this your pride a little bit and just adjust to the Premier League? And one thing I'll say about Premier League of today is this. The way you start the game is very, very important in today's Premier League. Very, very
Of
important.
course,
You start the game
of course.
stupidly, you can go 3 goals down in 15 minutes. Very quickly.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
So would
Yeah.
you so
yeah.
would you say he
So
has
I want
learned?
us
Would
to
you say he has learned
go
his
ahead.
lesson or what? So I just want to quickly ask, what has your opinion of him changed? Because I have a feeling that he could win 3 games in a row, and United fans will still not be confident in him.
No, I need to see consistency in this type of performance before I change my mind. I'm so sorry. I need to see. I can't judge Amorim on one game. And honestly speaking, it's not just Amorim. There's so many mistakes our players have made that it's not. Those are not tactical issues. It's a function of the player themselves. I mean, Bruno Fernandes missing 2 penalties. Can we blame Amorim for that? No. Defensive mistakes that Harry Maguire have made. I can't blame him
But
for that.
Suki, but you will agree that sometimes the tactics of the coach and the lack of
Affects the
freedom
player.
that he
Yeah,
gives to his players in his system could affect everything about that player.
I agree.
We've seen this over and over and over
and
I
again
look
that
at
agree.
I mean you
Grealish.
can't
Grealish,
separate it.
Grealish looks like the Aston Villa Grealish all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
I
Exactly.
mean, we did
You
that. We
know,
did
that's a
that all day
great
long in the
example.
break. I mean, come on, look at Marcus Rashford. Are you kidding me?
Oh my goodness!
So
Goodness.
that's a very good point and a good way to move to La Liga because I wanted us to talk very briefly about about La Liga now that there's an international break. Like you said, to me is beginning to shape up after 8 match weeks already as a two-horse race. Real Madrid,
Nothing new
Barcelona
there.
again.
Nothing new.
I think Real Madrid has lost one game. Barcelona has lost one and drew one, and neck and neck again. But one thing I've seen, and I don't know how much of La Liga you guys follow. I try to do it for True Bench and just personally because I have interest in that league as well. What I've seen as a difference between Madrid and Barcelona already this season is that I think Madrid is going to rely for goals very heavily on their two superstars. in Mbappe and Vinicius Junior. And the numbers already suggest that because I think between the two of them, they already have 14 of the 19 goals that they scored in the La Liga this season. Whereas Barcelona is looking like anyone can pop up in the box and
They
score
have
a
a lot
goal
of
because
potential. You have Rafinha,
Ferran Torres is the only one that
Lewandowski,
scored 4 goals, and every other person has scored 1, 2 here and there. Which so on the balance of play, and with that fact emerging from the data that we've seen, which team do you think has risk based on the fact that they are set up that way in terms of goal scoring?
Of course, Madrid. Of course, Madrid. I mean, when you don't have all your players firing on their horses, it's a big risk. What happens if Mbappe is injured for 6 weeks? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, what happens
Yeah.
when Mbappe and Vinny are injured? What happens when Vinny's level drops because he's obsessed with the fans? Because now, So I mean, there are so many risks for Real Madrid. I think they need to bring back people like Brahim Diaz. Rodrigo is coming off the bench every other game. So all the other folks that Gola is, I think, in good form right now. But he's not scoring goals. You know what I mean?
Jude Bellingham is just coming back from injury, so he's going
So
to
they're
get back into
managing
the
him.
group. Yeah.
And let's look at Jude Bellingham in the last, season or so. He wasn't scoring too many goals either. He's a horsepower for the team, but he wasn't scoring too many goals either. So there's a big
Well,
risk there for Real Madrid. But on the other hand,
But they changed. Last season, his role was changed when Mbappe came in. In the first
yes,
season, he
because he
was
was playing
almost playing
as
at false nine.
false nine. Yeah,
But
so he was
last
scoring
season he
extra goals.
dropped a bit deeper.
Yeah,
In
absolutely. Which is
providing
okay.
the midfield cover.
Yeah, But I also
so
say
that's
this
what.
though.
Yeah.
Let me just quickly finish my. I watched the Sevilla Barcelona game, and I tell you, I could not believe that was Barcelona. The first 45 minutes, Barcelona didn't see anything. They didn't sniff anything on. Matter of fact, Sevilla could have gone up 4-0 in the first half. Very, very easily. So I mean, that is a blueprint that a lot of teams would try and follow in La Liga, because that's what they do in La Liga. They look at a team, they look at the athletic clubs and the Real Betis, and they follow their blueprint to play these big clubs. So that's where I think Barcelona gave their hand away. But again, there's no Lamine Yamal in the team right now. So hey, but I agree with you. Real Madrid is going to be at risk,
Yeah.
and I think I would end my.
Well, you know what? To your question, Wale, I
mean,
think what.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to quickly address what you said and why I agree that Real is at risk. It may not necessarily pan out the way we are suggesting, and I say this because there are certain teams that rely on certain people, right? Big players, big time players. It always happens. You mentioned Salah in Liverpool last season. We're seeing it now with Mbappe and Vinicius. And I remember when that person was Ronaldo for Real Madrid. And the moment Ronaldo stepped away, Benzema from nowhere becomes this crazy goal scoring superhero. And sometimes you don't see the people you have on your bench or the other players that can come to the fore because everything is pass it to Haaland, pass it to Mbappe, pass it to your.
Absolutely.
And I think where
Absolutely.
Barcelona have done better is that they've tried to keep from having that central person where you say, pass it to that person or pass it to that person. It could be any of them in that front three. The coach has kept it from being that singular Haaland or Salah or Ronaldo, as the case may be. And so it gives them a lot more freedom.
Yeah.
I think as a coach, you've got to sacrifice games like this to make the team feel less like it's a one-man team. And that if we're going to lose, we're losing together. And that's why I said at some point in time, a coach is going to have to step up and say, you know what, this is a team game. So that's why I agree that there is the risk in relying on certain superstars where that Barcelona is not doing. But sometimes, if those guys are injured, people suddenly step up, man, and they just begin to produce from nowhere. And
I remember a few seasons ago, before Harry Kane went to the Bundesliga, he was injured at Tottenham, and everybody thought it was over for Tottenham. and Song stepped up and was banging in
Just blew
goals
up.
for fun. So yeah,
Just
yeah.
Yeah,
blew
So I
up.
mean,
yeah,
I agree with you.
absolutely.
And we talk about Harry Kane as
Yeah.
well. He scored 104 goals in 106
It's
appearances
mad.
for Bundes for
Yeah.
yeah.
Kane is on another level. But one thing just to wrap up, comments on La Liga and Barcelona. A few minutes ago, Suki was talking about Amorim being stubborn, not changing his system and all that. You could say the same thing with Hansi Flick. He's a high press guy, and he
Yeah.
goes with that high press in
Yeah.
every
And he will not
game he
change. He
plays.
will never
That's
change.
how PSG. That's how they lost to PSG last time. The
Yeah.
same thing, the same thing that Seville capitalized on. You were just talking about that match, and I'm looking forward to the game in Champions League against Chelsea, and we'll see what happens again
What the
in
funny
that
thing
in
on
that match.
the
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you should
Yeah.
bring on the high press, and let's see where we go from there. Thank you, gentlemen. I think it's been another
Shogun
fantastic
show.
conversation that we've had this week. Shegun, I wish we could bring you back every weekend. Just be one of us. And I know you are
Hey,
one of us,
I'm
but
one of us. I'm one of you. I'm one of us. Thank you. Thank you so much for the invite.
absolutely, yeah, 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 one of us. Yeah, yeah. Hope to see you guys again. Have a nice week, everyone. Guys, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please do so. A lot of content will be coming out in subsequent week. Guys, thank you. Have a good evening. Talk to you again next time.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.